understand. So he has my screen in front of my face.
I know.
Thank you for helping with that. I am so not technical. Hello?
Yeah, me either.
Okay. You guys all have a copy of this? No?
No.
Okay. Well, get your own. Just kidding. Get your own. These are all for me.
Okay, we are recording. We're good to go.
Olivia, let's see. She
Ooh,
sent it.
shakalaka.
Okay, Olivia. You know, send it. Let me refresh. Oh, there it is, Olivia. And
Is she still sick?
she's in there.
She.
I didn't come near her, thank God. I didn't know she was sick. Is there like a sick board where we know who's sick?
Yeah, we need to make
How
that.
did you know she was sick?
Because she came back yesterday and she was like, I was sick.
Oh, hello. I don't even know. Is this even working? No, right? You can't.
It should be.
Hello.
It's on.
Yeah,
But
I don't think that we ever really
here.
I think it's just like on the Zoom.
Maybe
You might hear
it's just for that.
Yeah.
Mm.
Recording.
Dang it. Okay, I'm just going to put that on there. Maybe it's just for the recording. Okay, let's see. Classes. Okay, this is where I was before. Let's see if I can open it. All right. Everybody been making all the classes? I'm sorry, I totally forgot. Wait. Kaylee?
Kylie.
Oh, I was so close.
So close.
Kaylee. I know John.
Mm-hmm.
My stepdad's name was John, so it's one of those things where you just kind of attach names because once you get over your 50s, I'm telling you guys, it's a little hard. That's why I don't try to remember my clients' kids either. I'm like, how are the kids?
Yeah.
How's the husband?
Don't know any of their names.
Right.
Yeah, it gets worse. I even take this ginkgo biloba thing. I was like, maybe this will help me with my memory. Where am I going? We're talking about value, but I don't see it. Okay, materials here. Okay, so defining your value.
Yes,
Is that right?
Number 4.
Number, are you here?
It's number
Session
4.
4.
There you are.
Nice.
I tried doing this, and it wouldn't open. Do you see how I did it? And it won't open? Oh!
There we go.
Oh, so see, I was like, I can't open anything. It's all blank. And there it is. They
Oh,
started
yeah.
on page 8.
Hidden slides.
Must be all the scribble stuff.
Mhm.
It's all for the scribble. Hidden slide. Why wouldn't you give me hidden?
Yeah.
Sorry, you can't see hidden slides because they're hidden. It's top secret. For those of you ever watching on this. Okay, so let's see if we can. Let's see if we can get this to do layout. No, it's not like it's view, right? It's view. There you go. I haven't done one of these in a while. Is that better? Perfect.
Love it.
And then if I want to go this way. Okay. So what did you guys learn yesterday?
What was yesterday?
Dan Hillman.
About the market.
Markets.
Oh yeah.
Knowing your market.
Knowing your market. So supposedly it was a little bit about just knowing how to understand what's going on in the market. So what did you learn there? Just curious.
We learned.
I think
In general, what's the aha from that?
I think a big one, and I think Dan has a really smart idea. It's like when someone is asking about the market, figuring out like where they fall in that market. So instead of just being like general about like, oh, you know, the market's good or the like finding out like, well, it
Yeah.
depends on where do you fall in this market? Like, are you curious about buying? Are you curious about selling? Because then you can pinpoint exactly what they want to know and give them the information that's valuable to them. Instead
Right.
of just like giving them this kind of general spiel about the market that I'm sure they hear.
I want to keep this here, but I can't stand this because I like to draw. So we're going to be K today. We're going to be Keller for Gary Keller. I don't know who William's in, but he's not here today. I don't even know if they can see me with this screen. Do I need to go over here to write and then they'll see?
That's what Chris usually does. he
Okay.
stays on the
He does it, okay.
Yeah.
So cool. I think I would add that or to dig deeper, John, about what you said about the market.
Yeah.
And is it knowing your market or
What was it exactly?
It was
Connect with your market?
connect with your market,
Yeah.
right?
let me see what it says exactly. Connect. Yep. And so being able to know what kind of market are we in?
Yeah, so
Is
when
it
someone
buyers,
says, how's the
sellers?
market, what would you say?
Right now, based on what Dan's
Mm-hmm.
told us yesterday, I would say that we are in a balanced market.
Balance, that's a good word.
Mhm.
Balance, steady, it's a steady market. Here's what I would encourage you to really say that's gonna just get you right to where you need to go. What would you like to know? What would you like to know? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Because the market is such a freaking general, am I allowed to say freaking here?
Yep.
I'm trying to stay in the camera. The market is such a general broad, that's like just saying, how's the weather?
Yeah.
Where? You know, you're talking on the phone with somebody in Florida. You're talking about Florida. So yes, let's talk about what you want to know. So now, guess what's happening? You're giving the person the power, and that's what they want. They want power and control. It's always about it. It's a human instinct to want to control a situation, especially in a real estate market where it's like, wow, what the hell's going on? Oh, you know, and we form our own ideas based on what we're reading, based on what we watch in the morning. Good Morning America. Oh my God. And the news truly, primarily only talks, well, not only, specifically will talk about what's news, what can we get people like to come back and watch tomorrow. You know, we want to watch Good Morning America because they got the news. Well, the news sometimes, when it is in relation to the economy and the market, is, oh my God, there's, you know, you need to keep watching the news because it's so weird and crazy and volatile. So what do you want to know? And I might want to ask you, Kylie, okay, I might want to ask you, well, I'm wondering about sellers. You know, what are sellers doing? You know, in this market, what are they doing? So what would you say to me on that? Like, what are sellers doing? I see a lot of signs on my street, and I'm trying to figure out, well, what's going on? Are they under contract? What do they do? What's happening with sellers? And so you might answer me like what? In general, you don't have to get, you know, into detail like, well, 80% of the market, and, you know, you don't need to get, in general, I'm your friend and you're talking to me. In general, what are you going to say about sellers? What could you say?
What are we saying?
Okay, that's fine. It's okay. John, what could you say?
I would say that sellers, there's a lot more competition for sellers because inventory's going up, so there's more
Okay.
houses on the market.
Okay, so we got competition. I'm just going to abbreviate this. Competition equals more buyer choices, right?
Yeah.
And more buyer choices equals sometimes I don't want to say the word confusion, but more choices. Oh yeah, I already said choices. More buyer choices equals more power in the buyer.
Yeah.
More power to buyers, right?
So we might be seeing houses sit for longer.
Plus, we have more power to buyers for choices, and not plus, but and we also have something going on with interest rates. So they have more choices, so they have more power, and then at the same time, they're frozen.
Yeah.
So now we have equal to a frozen, what is the word, attitude. It's almost a frozen attitude and affordability.
Yeah.
Affordability. So now we have, you don't even have to say frozen. So now we have an attitude and an affordability of confusion.
For sure.
And affordability. So now we got buyers making more choices, and some people are deciding to rent. Okay, so the conversation can keep, oh, really? So what are they doing then? Well, I believe that some people are renting, or staying with family. I believe that some people are waiting, right? And so that's why you see the signs. So this is just a conversation of a back and forth. And the more you stay in the conversation, the more you're going to build rapport with them. Okay, so tell me, what do you mean by that? Well, yesterday the interest rates were 7.3. What's awesome about the market and knowing your market is we get the Tuesday morning meeting. Who's going to that? I am. Yeah, so I'm not here in person because I have another obligation, but I jump on, whether I'm in the car or on my laptop. And Chris does an amazing job of keeping us in the market news, right? And for a lot of us that are new, and some of us that aren't new, it can be intimidating. There's a lot of numbers. What does that mean? And so we have a great leadership team that talks about, well, this is a good conversation you can have. I'm trying to get on this camera thing. This is a conversation you could have with your buyers. For buyers, the conversation would be. For sellers, the conversation would be. There's tons of conversations here. And so keep in the conversation, and that's how you know the market. Just keep in the conversation. Hey, by the way, later on in the evening, you might say, hey, by the way, I can keep you updated in the market. Why don't you I'll text you to ask you your email. Yeah. Then you add them to your database. They love that.
I feel like it would be cool to like create a smart plan that's like every Tuesday that you can like real quick market update. This is what we've seen in the past week. Like,
here's the thing I want to caution you about. Knowing that is great. I would encourage you to always know and to be on top of it by showing up for the meetings, by showing up. Right. However, they get tired of it. They're like, oh my God, it's her again, it's her again. And that's just too much information. That's why we like to stick to the monthly market for our clients. Yeah. Then you keep taking your notes, and in your notebook, you know what to talk about in your market little update of whatever 5 minutes that you send out to your database with. Yeah. Like you said, your drip plan. Anyway, okay, so cool. I just wanted to go over that with you guys. You don't need to know everything, but I'll tell you this. Oh, how come it's not? Oh, there. Oh, there. You will know the market once you get out there. What I know is this. I'm showing homes, and I'm watching them and studying them and writing offers or not offering. Here is what my buyers are saying. Here's what I see. And the more they know that you're seeing and you're doing, the more and more they create trust. Wow, he was really out there. Kylie's really out there. But hey, why don't I take you to coffee next month or next week or whatever? Why not later on this month? Why don't we go to coffee and we can just chat? I'd love to catch up with you. Not about the market. Not about the market, right? Because now you have an opportunity to take this conversation into a coffee, okay? Or a movie. It doesn't have to be a coffee or a lunch to talk about the market. It can be, hey, you want to grab a movie and invite 5 of your closest girlfriends? Hey, you want to you want to go play some pool and invite 4 or 5 of your closest buddies. It's the relationship, and I don't care what anybody says, except myself, because I have to listen to myself, and my husband has to listen to me. But in my most humble opinion, real estate is really relationships. Yeah. It is. Because you can get on Facebook all you want and Ignite, and you can TikTok and go like this. I don't even know how to do it. Did I do okay? You can do all you want to all the strangers you want, but the people that are going to cheer you on are the people that already cheer you on. They're your friends and your family and your coworkers from old jobs. Okay? What did you used to do before this?
I was a server and bartender.
Oh, where?
At Marigold.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Oh man. Do you still work there part-time?
No, I left to do real estate full-time.
Full-time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, good for you.
It's a sad change. Yeah, I stopped it.
Well, you can always, if they need help, say, hey,
Yep.
you know what, if you guys need help, I'm free on Friday evenings. That's it. You know, you get to decide. If you're ever short on a Friday, I'm good. But other than that, I'm busy selling real estate. I'm busy selling. And all those people, they're your people. Yeah. They're your people. Make sure you add them to your database. and keep in touch with them. Okay, so let's talk about value proposition. This is a really good class. I've taught it before. It's been a while. So let's see, where are we here? Your value. Top agents can easily explain what services they will provide to anyone who hires them. Gary Keller. It's a quote, obviously. So I got a question for you. What defines value to somebody? Like you as a person, as a consumer, what defines value to you? Just tell me your top 2 or 3 things. What defines value? Okay. It's okay. Sometimes when we're in a classroom setting like this, our minds go blank. Yeah. You do not need to feel, you guys do not need to feel like, oh my God, what's wrong? You know when you go into a mall and you're looking for something, a jacket, a dress, or you're going to Best Buy and you're looking for a TV, you know what to value. Right. And so sometimes you leave the store and you're like, I'm never going back there because of blank. I'm coming back here because of blank. So what are those things?
I mean, information.
Okay.
I think that's a huge one.
You want info.
Yeah.
What else, Kylie?
Quality.
That's a good one. Anything else? People out there? Crickets? Any crickets out there? Nobody's out there.
No one out there.
I don't know. Was I supposed to let people in?
I mean, the meeting started, so.
Okay, it's just being recorded.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say.
You're missing out. Okay. Well, any other words that you can throw in here? You went out of a store and you'll never go back there because of why? You didn't get what? What didn't you get? Good job. You're in the service industry. Sometimes what is so obvious to us is not something we would think. So don't feel bad because you're in the service industry, and you are too, because you've been in the restaurant business. So we know, how do we get our tips? How do we get our tips, Kylie?
Providing customer service.
Okay, so service. Okay. So, go ahead.
I think another thing too is like, if you come from the mindset of like service,
Mm-hmm.
it's not hard. It doesn't take a lot.
Yeah.
Like, I have people come up to me all the time. I'm like, oh, thank you so much. He's like, honestly, I'm just doing my job. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just for anyone else, man.
Yay, thank you for existing. Hey, send me a birthday card because that's why you got what you got, because I was born.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, like, that's the thing though. It's like, I think it's kind of can be, or it can be learned, but it's mostly like ingrained in a lot of sense. Like,
Right.
it's deep within you.
Yeah, some people are people, and some people are introverts, but that doesn't mean that an introvert cannot be a successful agent, and it doesn't mean that an extrovert like me cannot be. My husband, I consider, is an introvert. I consider myself an extrovert. Together, pass that. Together, that's last November. So that's last November. You guys would have never not known.
Oh my God, this is amazing.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, thanks. You can look at it later, but I want to go back to value again, okay? Value. Okay, value. How do you think we got on that? We're talking, you guys, about real producers. See all these people that got on this month's, what do they call it, under 30?
30 under 30?
30 under 30?
Is that what it is?
No, I don't even think it's 30 people. It's the class of 2023.
Is Jordan?
Apparently they were in a class. Jordan who? No. So how do you think all these people got on here as opposed to somebody you think should be on here?
Service. I mean, providing.
Do you want to know the truth?
Yeah.
To get on this magazine, can I grab that? Supposedly, the last time we were on it, right? To get on this magazine, someone has to nominate you.
Okay.
Somebody has to nominate. So when we got on the magazine, they asked, who would you recommend to be on the next cover? And who else can we talk to about advertising in our magazine? In other words, roofer, a title company, an inspection service, a banker, a lender, whatever. That's how this magazine operates. So you do not need to sell a lot of homes. You do not need to be pretty. You do not need to be ugly. You just need to be nominated and be worthy of being looked at as a candidate to be on there. Okay, so someone nominated us, someone that I had a relationship, had a relationship with, who was a lender at the time. So that's how, I'd love to tell you guys how awesome, how awesome I was, or my husband was, and that we were a very successful team, and we did deserve that, because a lot of those numbers come from last year's numbers, which would have been 22. In this case, 21 and 22 were an amazing year, but everybody deserved to be on that cover. Everybody deserved to be on that cover, in my opinion. It's just we got nominated, so we got lucky. And I'm grateful. And so this is a great opportunity. Someday you guys could be on there or in it. And then you can use this as, you can print something about yourself. You don't have to bring the whole magazine, but you can print a piece of it and make a flyer and say, hey, as part of your piece, as part of your value when you go to a listing appointment. So the reasons why how people define value really is, in our industry, they want us to solve a problem. They have a problem. They want you to solve it. They want me to solve it, okay? That's how and why they will pay. Okay? The second thing is, one. I write these they want you to provide them pleasure. Like, how can you make this a feel-good, non-stressful, what's the word? See, I'm not. How can you make this a feel-good, they want to feel good. That's another way of saying pleasure. And so how can you provide value, and how can they feel like they would pay you to do these things? So in our industry, this is what our clients are really looking for. And it's simple, right? Right? But let's talk about problems, right? Can you help me solve my problem? I owe $500,000, and yeah, but your house is only worth $450,000. And I'm not saying that's how you talk, but that's reality, for example. How you can help them solve that problem. So that's where we deserve to get paid, because they couldn't figure it out. They can't sit down and freaking watch, what do you call those shows? Home Channel and all these other do-it-yourself. They're not going to teach them how to solve this problem, because you know how. And if you don't know all the ways, you know some ways, and you'll find out, what else could I do? By being part of a brokerage that collaborates ideas and have been in your shoes before. Here's what we did. Okay, so that's how this brokerage provides value. I've been here since it opened, and I will not go to a RE/MAX or anywhere else, because maybe they do have value, but I like my value here. So I don't care. You can call, EXP calls me all the time and everywhere else. They're like, hey, we'll only charge you $100 a month. I'm like, you will not provide the value, because I've been at RE/MAX. And that's not because I started the business at RE/MAX, actually. Okay, so they want to be heard. They want to be validated. Are you going to listen? Right? That means you need to be good at question asking, right? Ask a lot of questions, just like I said. What do you want to know about the market? So I got off track there, but I think it's important to say that when you define your value, you have to understand, what is someone willing to pay me, 2, 3, whatever percent? And how many of you know about the RE/MAX settlement that just happened?
Yeah, is that the one where they changed the co-op?
Okay, so if you really want to create more value for your knowledge as a person who knows the industry, you could choose to listen to podcasts, okay? Some podcasts I would recommend to you are Housing Wire. So if you listen to anything in your car or in the morning while you're getting ready, you know, in the bathroom, in the shower, whatever, or you're just at home, or you're just going on a walk, listen to Housing Wire. Specifically, ones that talk about the industry, because they do sometimes target lenders. You don't always need to listen to those. I skip those. But Logan Matashami is the person that is the economist that Housing Wire uses to update you on the economy. And so that's one way you stay on top of the market, because you're spending your frickin' time, all your frickin' precious time, learning about the market. This is why someone's gonna pay you to sell a home and buy a home. So when you look someone in the eye and say, I'm worth it, you know you're worth it because you spend your time doing it, okay? So you're showing homes, you're selling homes, whatever you're doing, you're coming to meetings, you're getting on our weekly update. And you could be also listening to this stuff, what's happening in the nation. So Housing Wire, and every week Logan Matashami talks about the market. He talks a lot about what's going on with the feds. And you may also be intimidated, like, well, what's going on? What do the feds have to do with this? And what does the 10-year bond have to do with mortgage rates? He explains it in layman's terms. Keep listening and you'll pick up, okay? So do these things and you can look someone in the eye and say, yeah, I get paid 3%. Yeah, I get paid this percent. You can never, if they question you, will never feel like you don't deserve your money. You will never feel like I need to give you back, hey, let me sell your home, I'll do it for 1%. Don't do it if you don't have to, unless you feel like it's in your heart that you need to do something like that. Not need, that you choose. You choose to do what you do with your commission, and you choose to do how you spend it, okay? So always choose things. Don't say, well, I should give them a discount because they don't have any deals. Well, I should do this. You know, I should not get a buyer's representation because I know her from work. You know, stop shitting yourself and choose to do it. If you choose to do it, then it's okay. You will never go back on yourself and say, damn, why did I waste all that time? Because you chose it, okay? So change how you speak to yourself. That's huge. When you have your value and people are looking at you like, why the hell should I work with you? Oh yeah, you're new. I'm valuable. So keep building your value, and over the years it keeps compiling, right? Compound effect. Who's heard that? Did you read it? Mm-hmm. Darren Hardy. It's another. So Darren is amazing. I love Darren. Tom Ferry is a great podcast as well. What you'll find is if you sign up for too many, it gets kind of confusing. And then you start shitting on yourself. I should get Tom Ferry coaching. I should listen to him about TikTok. I should listen to her about starting a new Facebook. You know, should. Focus on the things that matter, right? Facts. And with Ninja Selling, which I've shared with you, the Ninja Selling podcast, they'll teach you more about how to create value with your clients, right? So you're listening to that. What do you think about Ninja Selling podcast?
Yeah, that's a good one.
It's good.
Those two guys are just like, you could listen to them talk all day.
All day long.
You can tell they're like good friends, so it's like very fun and entertaining, but they dive really deep into like very valuable information. Like the one that has definitely affected me a lot, and I think you should listen to it, Kylie.
Could.
Yeah,
You could. You should do this, or else you're a failure. You could.
To listen to this.
I love it. Yes, John. You're coachable.
There you go.
Which one?
On handwritten notes.
Okay.
Because they just like dive into like.
Which
and they
one?
have handwritten notes.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
From like a month or two ago, I think. But they just have like some really good stories about like the real power in them.
Yeah.
So that one was like super awesome, and then like you'll definitely listen to that and then be like, okay, I'm gonna write more notes. You know what I mean?
So here's the deal. How do you feel when someone mails you a handwritten note card? Have you ever gotten one?
It's been so long that it's just.
I hear you. But what if someone did? And let's just say she was a lender, and she never bugs you or smothers you or annoys you. She just knows you're a realtor and says, hey, Kylie, I heard you're in real estate. I'm so happy for you. I wish you all the best. If you ever need any help, I'm here. Or just, hey, just so you know, I've got some great rates if you need help. Or I just wanted to let you know I'm proud of you. Whatever. Don't even say anything about you're in real estate. I was just thinking about you. I was thinking about you, and I hope you, for you and the family are doing. Even just 2-3 sentences in a card, handwritten. What are you doing? Right? You're making someone smile when they open up a card. Even for that 1 minute, they won't forget it.
Yeah. And I think it also, like, it draws you closer.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the connection.
The connection.
Yeah. Like, I mean.
I love it.
Someone, for this open house I'm doing, she reached out to me on Facebook, and it's Candace.
Mm-hmm.
She was like, hey, I'm making up custom, like, loan flyers that'll just kind of break stuff down for your clients that show up so they can see numbers. Would you like some? Yeah, definitely.
Sure.
So,
Yeah.
like, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's super cool.
That's awesome. Okay, so she's creating value to you,
Right.
because that's helpful,
Super helpful.
right?
Yeah.
So going back to solving a problem, how you solve problems is you stay in the know. How you stay in the know is you go to the meetings, you show up, you listen to stuff that works for you, that you resonate with. There's tons of podcasts out there, but Housing Wire and Ninja Selling, those are my two. Housing Wire for science, which is facts, and Ninja for more personal connection with my clients, right? And then my brokerage, okay? So when someone says, hey, why should I pay you? Make sure that, and this is what this is about, know your value proposition, okay? So help your clients understand your value and expertise. It protects your commission, you know your worth, and it builds strong and trusting relationships. So we cover all these. Here's some examples, right? Airbnb exists in the, what does it say? Exists to create a world where anyone can belong anywhere, providing healthy. So this is, in some essence, this is a mission statement, right? So you can have a mission statement, right? Walmart says, hey, every day we offer you low prices, right? I don't care if you have low, if you don't have service, I'm not coming back to you, Walmart. If I can't find parking, that's the hugest thing. I want Walmart to change everyday low prices and parking.
It's true, though.
Right? It's so frustrating, but we go to Walmart to save the money, so we park farther, right? And we get to look at all the funny people to save money. But it's valuable to us because our dollar is so hard earned. Make sure that you know that people are thinking the same thing about paying you because they work hard for their money. They've been paying their mortgage on time for years, okay? And understanding that respect and knowing your own self-respect of, hey, here's how I can help you. Here's why I'm the better candidate, right? Okay, so we'll skip these mission statements. Does anybody have a vision or a mission statement? Do you two have any?
No.
Okay, so if you Google, I have all kinds of little tidbits for you guys. If you Google Stephen Covey mission statement, if you Google how to create a mission statement, right? I haven't been on this in a while, but they'll take you to a link. Stephen Covey, who knows who Stephen Covey is? Stephen Covey wrote The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. In my opinion, he is the forefront and father of building a mission and a statement and knowing your value. If you could read any book, it's one of my favorites. Before I was in real estate, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People in your personal life and in your business. I'm gonna just put highly effective here because you'll look it up. But here in this Google, you should be able to find a link that will help you build a mission statement. It'll ask you questions, and every question will say, how do you handle this? How do you feel about that? How do you look at this? And you answer each question, and at the end of it, it builds a template of words, right? Of words that come out that describe you based on how you answered. And it's pretty damn good.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a start. And you can highlight the words. You're like, yeah, I am helpful. Yes, I love people. Yeah, these are me. I listen. I'm a good listener. These are me. I love, I'm growth mindset. I have a growth mindset. Whatever it is, you're going to be like, this is me, this is me. Then you take those key words and run with those. In fact, I would write that and start a journal. If you do what I was suggesting, and that is 3 gratitudes in the morning. Have you heard this?
Yeah.
And your affirmations, whether you write it 5 or 25 times. When I first started doing affirmations, I thought I needed to write it 25 times. And I was like, oh my God, it hurts so bad. Shit. And now I've gotten to a point where I just write it 5 times. Because if it's written well, then it will resonate with you. And if you can take 2-3 minutes and shut your eyes and say it to yourself, right? Whether your affirmation is, I choose. I always think that's a strong word, right? I choose to commit to my daily habits. So what are your daily habits? This is just an example. I choose to commit to blank, right? But this is a good word. I choose to commit to blank to grow my business. This is just an example, right? Another good affirmation is, and I put this on my Facebook, and this is something I got from Hal Elrod, who's another person that I love, who wrote Miracle Morning, Hal Elrod. He's got a great podcast, and that's more about self-growth. But the more you resonate with your self-growth, you create more self-value and self-respect, the better you're going to be at anything you do, whether it's this or serving in any respect and at home. So those are great websites. Hal Elrod has one. I forget what it's called, but it's a growth mindset type of a podcast. So, and I think, what did I put? I put love, and you could put, I love the life I have, right? I love the life I have while I build, because we're always building and growing, the life I want. I put that on my Facebook, and I got that from Hal Elrod. So that can also be an affirmation. So you get to choose your affirmations. Okay, so let's go back to, so this is helpful about a mission statement. 7 habits of highly effective people is an amazing. Okay, let's go back to here, because I get off track on other stuff. I need to stay on track here. Wait, what do you mean? Okay, so we talked about that. Connect to your value. We talked about this, Fiduciary, that's why we take ethics. How many people know why the hell you're in an organization like NAR or CAR, the National Association, the Colorado? Do you even know why we have such organizations, right? They help maintain and control, to some degree, a high level of ethics to the public, right? That's why you're a fiduciary. Know that you paid all that money and you spent all that time getting all your CE credits and learning about how to treat people well. And you are not like any other person. You are knowledgeable, and you are an ethical person with fiduciary responsibilities to your client. And that means that they can trust you. You can trust me. So knowing your market, right? How do you let people know that you're a trustworthy person? By continuing to go to your ethics and carrying that level of fiduciary responsibility will always come out, right? I am a fiduciary to you. This is why you frickin' pay me. The reason why I went off on the RE/MAX thing is because there is a huge lawsuit named are some of the biggest brokerages: Remax, Keller Williams, Sotheby's. Actually, it was somebody else, but they own several different brokerages, like HomeSmart. They own like all, what do you call it? I forget some of them. But the lawsuit basically states that we, as sellers, do not want to pay buyer's agents. We don't want to pay you when you bring a buyer. We don't want to pay that. We're going to pay our agent to sell our property and market it. But we don't want to pay your shit. We want to pay this, and you have somewhat, quote unquote, in layman's term, bullied us into having to pay for somebody else to do it, for you to bring me a buyer, and I'm a seller. Does that make sense? So somehow, and it doesn't make sense to us because we're in an industry and we work hard to build this, to know the things, to help the people, to solve the problems, right? To represent you in an ethical manner. We get paid for a reason. However, sellers don't care. They're like, I just want to pay my agent whatever my agent's charging me. Why do I need to pay you, agent? Right? And so this is the argument. And so who's settling is now Remax, the second name. NAR is being sued. Okay? This is all going way up to the Supreme Court. So what does it mean for us? Does it mean that we can't take our buyers and no one's going to pay us? Well, guess who's going to pay you? Is he or is she? That's the big question mark. Who's going to pay me if I bring you a buyer? My buyer can barely afford 7.3%. He's got $6,000 in savings for closing costs. Barely. We need someone to buy down the rate. Oh, and by the way, you need to pay me 3%. I know, right? It's freaking a joke. For over a century, it has been a common way of practice for realtors that the seller pays the buyer's agent to bring them a well-qualified buyer to represent the buyer, to help them understand, hey, Mr. Buyer, this is how we do this, and keep them under control so that we can get to the closing table. Can you imagine if they don't have representation? They lose earnest money, they lose, and deals fall out. So the question is, does the seller want to take the risk of a buyer not being qualified, walking away from the deal? Okay, I don't want it anymore. Just like that, with no consultation and no understanding of what walking away from the deal means. Oh, yay, well, that's okay, because I'm going to keep their earnest money, because they told me too late. They didn't have representation. They have no idea what's late. They don't know how to read this shit. So, Mr. Seller, what do you want? They don't care. And attorneys are saying, figure it out. Get your buyer to pay you. So Remax has settled $55 million. Then who's to say who's going to sue the next one? Keller Williams is named, and Keller Williams has not responded. So these brokerages, now Remax, are settling and saying, we'll give you $55 million, leave us alone. And we're changing our disclosures. From now on, every seller will understand they have a right to pay or not to pay. If you pay, you get this. If you don't pay, you could get this. You choose. In writing. So now what's going to happen is if you go under contract, you're going to start getting these documents. If you work with a Remax agent, you're going to be like, dude, if you want to work with us, you're going to sign all of this stuff. But we, as a Keller Williams agent, are not obligated to sell. We are not obligated to sign. We are not a party to the contract. We are representation. The buyer is the party to the contract. So this is why it gets even more and more important that you're here in this class and that you understand this is what's going to take you through, because all of this may not be figured out for the next 5 years. In 5 years, you may have to figure out, and it will get figured out. It will get figured out. In the meantime, this will always be the one thing that will carry you, okay? Okay, so that's what I mean by fiduciary and market expert. showing homes, buying, selling homes, da 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 da. Okay, we talked about this. God. Okay, so far, ahas. How do you feel about knowing what you know so far? How long has it been?
45 minutes.
Oh, okay, better hurry up. I think I just made my own course.
I like the way you teach.
Oh, thank you. Okay, so the purpose of real estate is for buyers. Their goal to find the best. Okay. The best price in the right time. These are all true, right? I want to find the best house in the right amount of time for the best price. That's really what they want to. I mean, let's not lie. They are looking for the best price. In the end, you just need to keep acknowledging them that I know you're looking for the best price and you're looking to move in at the best time. I'm going to help you decide how that works because there is such a thing as a timeline. You know, just like there is an end to a fairy tale. It doesn't keep going on. There is such a thing as a timeline, and I'm going to help you understand that. And where your money is at risk, you know. These contracts are going to start getting more complex because sellers now have waited. They have waited and waited, and they're waiting, and they continue to wait. So we're going to bump into situations where a seller, now that the interest rates, let's just say, are 6, let's pretend, next spring, 6%. So I was like, okay, I'm going to move, and I want to buy something else. And I want to sell my home over here. So now we're getting into more complex situations, right, where the least number of problems. Now we get to these complex situations where there could be problems, where now we have your home for sale, then we have this home that you want to buy. But then the buyer is a key factor on getting into this. It gets really tricky. I'd like to see some guy walk up and say, I want to buy your house. Oh, looks like you're going to buy another house. Oh, that's cool. I still want to buy your house. However, seller says, oh, yeah, and let's just get trickier. Buyer needs to sell his house in freaking Maryland. And he hasn't even put it on the market. But buyer wants to buy this house. Oh, sorry, wrong house. Buyer wants to buy this house. Seller wants to buy this house, but he can't buy it until this guy performs. This is why you are going to be the professional in figuring out how do I work all of this, because it's going to get more complicated when the market starts easing up a little bit, right? So this is how you can explain to people, I can help you with the least number because it is very complex. Working in a situation like this where there are all these people that have waited to move to move when it felt right. So now it feels right, and the other guy it feels right. It's getting more complex. I'm going to help you make sure that we stay on top of this, and I'm going to protect your assets so you don't lose out on this. And sometimes you will not be able to control it. So always know you can't control everything, you guys. You can do your best. Because I had a situation where I couldn't control it because I had the seller that wanted to buy and put an offer in on this house, right? So that's my seller. And I got multiple offers, 5 or 6. And I listed it for 7, and we ended up at this price, okay? Right? So my buyer, this is what happens when you have multiple. Keep in mind, this happened back in May, June. It wasn't coming soon in May, but it was actually beginning of June. So sometime earlier in the market, before they hit the 7s, they were still at 6.5. Yeah. They were in the high 6s. So here's where we are. And also keep in mind that the buyers who are out here, that are out, stick people. These people are ready to move because they know this is a high demand house, it's beautiful, da-da-da. They know that if they're going to buy this house, they need to not have any contingencies because my seller already has a contingent because they found a house in the mountains and they have an offer on it, right? They don't need to sell to buy, but they want to sell to buy. And it's in their best interest to sell to buy. I need to make that happen. How can I make that happen? Let me tell you. Do you got this? Do you got me? Yep. Are you willing to do this with me, right? Do you believe that I can get this done? Yes, we do. Okay, so here's the plan, da-da-da. So here we are, right? I got lots of buyers. One of them goes up to 800 because they don't want the other guys to have it. And it's a great home, right? And they can afford it. What do we find out? Well, there might be structural issues. We might see some movement. How do they figure that out? Inspector sees tiny little cracks here. So tiny, you can't even see them. They're so tiny. But it's an inspector's job to look for things like this. What do tiny cracks mean? Movement. What do you know about movement in Colorado? There's a lot of it. There's a lot of it. In fact, there's a lot more in Texas. Texas people would come here, they're like, why the hell do you have basements? They freaked out about basements because why? Because there's so many problems with basements and movement that they started building homes with no basements. I always thought it was funny. I was working for a builder in the beginning, and they were like, why do you people have basements? They did not want to buy the house. They don't want a basement because they're scared, okay? How do you alleviate fear? So understanding, right, that now these people have had it inspected. They think there might be something. They want to have it checked out. So they hire, that's a check mark, by the way. They hire a foundation expert, also known as an engineer report, right, a structural engineer, to come and check it out. That person writes up a report that scares them. So now, in the meantime, while that's happening, we get the appraisal back. And the appraiser says, oh, this house is not worth $800. We are appraising it for $750. So, buyer said they'll pay the difference. This is called the gap. In order to get these guys out of the way, buyer said, don't worry, if it doesn't appraise, we'll pay the difference. So now we got a buyer who has to come up with the cash. Do they have the money? Yeah. Do they want to pay the gap? Not really. Not really. They would rather get it in their loan, the $800. But now we're telling them, oh, your loan can only be $750. You have to come up with $50. This is just an example. I'm rounding numbers off, okay? So now you'll have to come up with this cash. Do they have it? Yes. Do they want to spend it? Absolutely not. I wouldn't. I would want it in my loan, the loan of the home, okay? So what's happening here? A problem, right? Here we got a problem. How do we solve it? It's important to tell your clients that things can arise in inspection, and how to navigate and solve it and come to a win-win is your specialty, okay? And even if it's not, you're going to tell them that. Because we're all going to learn, because every situation is a learning. Because did I know how to navigate all this exactly the way? Nobody knew most things. I'm like, let's check this out, let's do this, let's talk to always high communication with the other agent. This is why the seller pays to get this shit done. Because otherwise, then they're going away, and then the other guy comes and says, well, I want the house. What's wrong with it? Oh, well, you need to disclose this. The listing agent's going to say you need to disclose the disclosure, saying they found something. They think there might be something wrong. Now who's going to buy it? So guess what? My people are not moving. And there's really nothing wrong with the house at all, because in Colorado we have something called the foundation, right? So you have the footers. They go ahead and pour the footers on each. These are the footers. They call them footers for a reason, right? And then they pour the foundation walls, right? They go all around the house. This is cement. So we have footers, and then we have foundation, right? And then we have what's called the slab. Then they pour the cement slab, and it floats. It's not really attached to this foundation. It's just a piece of cement, like your driveway. It's just there. In the basement, on whatever your first floor is. Or it's on a crawl space, right? We sometimes have that. But the traditional home now today is like this. And then we have the framed walls, right? So we have framed walls. And they're wood. And they are connected to, through steel. Through steel, they're connected to the footers. And they're called, traditionally today, not in the past, depending on when your house today we're using something called floating walls. Have they always used it? No. Kind of like asbestos. We don't use asbestos. The lead paint. We don't use lead paint. We don't use those things. And regular walls. So floating walls can withstand the pressure. So they move a little. And we're talking like so little. And so what happens is when there is movement, you might see some cracks on the ceiling, right? You might see tiny hairline cracks. But if you see a lot of cracks, like let's just say you walk in and you're like, what the hell is that? That means something's happening, right? You like my style of teaching?
Yes.
What the hell is that? Oh, it's just a crack. Let's paint it. Let's paint over it and caulk it.
Paint on top of
Just paint it and caulk it. The buyers don't have agents. They'll never know. What the hell? Do you want to not have representation, Mr. Buyer, or do you want to walk into this? I just got off the phone with someone who said, no, we bought that. I said, did you have an agent when you bought the house? He says, no, we did not have an agent. And he goes, and I said, oh, okay. He goes, yeah, we got a good deal. We got a good deal. And I'm like, that's great. Then I start hearing from him that it's digging deep, more questions, digging deep. Those sellers lied about this, they lied about that, they lied. And I'm like, oh, I see. You didn't have representation, did you? Now he wants to sell for too much money. So, oh, I love our jobs. So now it's like, so there's all of this. And so it's good to get knowledgeable about builders and understanding this and listening to people and coming to masterminds and connecting with people. Okay, so sorry I'm going off telling you my little stories.
Wait, so did they sell the house or not?
They did not.
They didn't sell
In fact, my sellers got their own report.
Okay.
And their report, in fact, they got two reports. The first report said it was just just a regular look-see, like, okay, no, we don't see anything, nothing, but you could look deeper, you could, and it says could all over the place because those suckers want to cover their ass. Yeah. And so what did he did? He said, okay, we will get a second report. And so it is an actual elevation that measures everything. So then they got a more extensive report, paid for that, found out that they have floating walls. There's nothing wrong. It's moving only to the extent of what Earth moves. Frickin' A. Everybody hear that song? I hear the earth. It's feel, actually. You don't hear it. So, and so there was nothing to fear as far as movement. Could it move someday? Yeah. And they say that. This could move someday. It could fall down. We don't frickin' know the future. However, in one specific spot, they noticed that there was a little bit more movement in one corner. And so, so that could mean one of two things. This may not be a floating wall, which doesn't make sense, because why would you put floating walls around all these others? That's one. Or maybe this could not be a floating wall, and it might be attached to the point where it's causing this little crack over here. And so the only way to know is to do some digging to look and open up. Basically, it's going to cost money just to peer in. Then we can tell you the answer. So now they could get a third opinion by someone who does work like this. Okay? An excavator.
Where's this at?
In Rock Rimmon.
Oh,
You're like, oh, I knew it. Rock Rimmon's infamous. So is old Colorado City. Okay, so will they do that? They don't know. Am I going to rush them? No. They get to choose.
Yeah.
And all I can tell you is this. This is their interest rate.
Oh,
Nice.
so yeah, it's not.
but they still wanted to sell.
Did they buy the new house still?
No, they got out of the contract and they got their earnest money back on this house. Because I said, red flag, red flag, red flag. And the agent on the other side, I was talking to, I said, look, we have an issue. Oh yeah, but, and I'm like, no, don't, it's not, it's too risky. Talk to my sellers. Too risky. Too risky, don't, because they're like, well, we'll give you more time if you give us more money. And I'm like, yeah, let's get out. Let's get out. It's not the last home in the mountains.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's my story. Ooh.
Yeah.
Is there a walkout?
This is why you are valuable. Okay? People don't know this shit. No, they don't. So, walk your ass around like you know shit. Okay? Thank you. Class is over. Okay, what is this? Thank you, class. Why won't it move? Oh, how come you can't see the... Oh, okay, so I see. Never mind. The top 10 service areas, you guys know this. Analyze, pre-qualified neighborhood. I'm going to skip this. This is just so generic. Yeah, generic. And if you want to look back, I don't mean I'm going to skip it. I'm going to fast forward. There's a difference between skipping and fast forwarding. Right? I'm like, right? Seller value. Okay. So, and you're going to learn all this stuff in the buyer class and the seller class, negotiating skills, etc. What buyers want, they want to be heard. We talk about this, right? You guys, they want to know, they want you to solve a problem, and they want you to provide pleasure to them. In other words, make it easy. Make it simple, make it easy. Solve their problem for them. There's always a problem. This is what they want more. Look at that. Find the right home, help negotiate. We've gone through all of this, right? In fact, too much in depth. Who cares? 100% of them want all of that. 100% of buyers want all these things, right?
And the other.
Yeah, okay. Why? Okay, here, buyer's value when choosing an agent, factors. We talked about ethics, honesty, and trustworthiness. Your experience. Your experience doesn't mean you have to have sold 50 homes, okay? I don't care, you guys. I sold 6 homes this year. Last year, I sold 18. The year before, I sold 22. So what? Does that make me a bad agent? No. No, I'm a good agent. And I don't know what I'll sell next year, but I'm going to keep striving to do the things that people will pay me for, okay? Because someday the seller isn't going to pay me. Who's going to pay me? I have no idea. Will they add it into the loan? Will now the buyer's agent get paid and it gets rolled into the loan as opposed to being a closing cost? So now this house is not 8, it's 810 instead of 800. So now the buyer is paying $810K in the loan. The question is, will buyers bite at that? Would they? Most would, I think.
So, yeah.
Most people would. It would depend. How much is the interest rate?
Yeah.
Or maybe we get to a point where they change this and it looks like this, and this is what it looks like, and this is how we do business now. And for the next century, it's going to look like this. Because for the past century, it's looked like such and such. Things have to change, right? I mean, hello, we have AI now.
Yeah.
AI is going to do our job for us, right? Okay, so factors, buyer's value when choosing an agent. So we talked about that, right? Your experience does not have to be how many homes you sold, okay? It has to do with how you create value, and you are valuable. It has to do with how you think of yourself and how much you know, And these are not hard things to do by listening and watching and learning and continuing to do your affirmations, right? And be grateful. You cannot lose in this if you continue to do your gratitudes and affirmations. You can't lose in your day. And even if you don't do real estate, you guys, I bumped into someone that said she's the manager of Chipotle. I'm like, hey, what happened to you? I'm the manager of Chipotle. Another agent said, yeah, I bumped into someone at, I forget which restaurant. And he runs some restaurant. And he used to be an agent too. He couldn't even remember his name. People will come and go. But wherever you go or wherever you stay, you know your value, okay? It will always serve you no matter what business, right? Reputation of an agent. Maybe this is not a reputation of you, but maybe it's a reputation of our brokerage, right? How about it's a representation of who you are and the brokerage you're affiliated with? Because if you look over here, it says, not that one. Oh my God, now I can't see because of these. We are part of a brokerage, right, that has a mission statement that states who we are as a brokerage, right? God first, family, business, right? We have to resonate with ourselves. I affiliate with my brokerage because of their values. Well, what are their values? Oh, well, I'll tell you. God first, family, and maybe you don't want to say that, you know? Maybe you just want to say they have values that resonate with me that I think are important to you, to me, and if they're important to me, they could be important to you, right? Okay. Speaking of reputation, I'm gonna do this. It's gonna be fun stuff. How do you create a reputation online? Where do you think you create a reputation online?
Like in specific where on?
Yeah, where online on this digital platform that we are all in? Are you creating value or creating a space to be known?
Social media.
Okay,
or
which ones?
Facebook, Instagram.
Okay,
KW website could be.
KW website.
Could be Google.
Why Google? Why not Zillow and Realtor.com?
It could be that too.
But why Google? Why would you choose Google as opposed to Realtor or Zillow? I'm just curious. Do you have a reason?
I feel like Google is can be that first of mind,
Ooh,
like
I like your talk. Can be.
yeah, there you go.
Could be, can be. I love it.
Well, because like you go on Google and you search, if
Bam! You go on Google and you search. Where do you go when you're searching for a restaurant?
right, Google.
Where does
Yeah.
anybody go?
Right.
Freaking Google. We just can't help it. We're addicted to Google.
Yeah.
Why? Because Google has it all. They have it all. How to build a mission statement. You know?
Yeah.
You know, give me a book report on this book. I don't want to read 7 Habits. Give me the highlights. You know? Which brokerage is the best value? You know, Google has it all. You know, give me the ingredients of this Kung Pao chicken at freaking P.F. Chang's. You know, whatever. So Google, where do we go, right? So in the beginning, you'll see that, not in the beginning, you will notice that teams within this brokerage, the Johnson team, Jody, Tammy, anybody. So the biggest team here is really, honestly, is the Johnson team. And then we have Derek. Derek has the artisan group, and we have Tiffany has the distinctive group, and they're not here, right? They're off-site teams, if you will. And they vary between, I have a team of 4 people, they have a team of 10 people. You know, Jeff Johnson's team compromises of 15 to 20 people, you know, within their team. And that includes TCs and et ceteras, and maybe even lenders, I don't know. However, they get a lot of their business. Let's say Jeff Johnson or the Johnson team gets a lot of their business from where? Does anybody know?
Zillow.
Look at you, Mr. Know-It-All. How do you know that?
Just because
Somebody told you?
I've talked to Jeff.
You talked to Jeff?
Yeah.
Oh, is he trying to hire you?
I'm interviewing with him actually.
You what?
I'm interviewing with him.
Good for you.
Yeah. We'll see what happens. Never know.
Jeff Johnson used to work for my husband's team like
Yeah.
15 years ago. And he was a client of one of my husband's teammates, Ian Stone, who was at Remax still. And so Jeff asked, or Ian and Jeff had a conversation about real estate, and at that time Jeff was serving, he was a server of what do you call them?
Yeah, like a process server.
Process server, like you've been served.
Subpoena.
Husband's getting subpoenas and
Yeah.
stuff like that. You're being sued.
Yeah.
And then you've been served. Okay, bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
And that's what Jeff was doing. And he was young. It was like 15, 16 years ago. And so anyway, they bought a house through Ian, who Ian was on my husband's team. You sometimes you start as a team, and then you grow out of that. So Ian did. Ian went, and then Jeff went on his own, and he had all of his family. His brothers got into business. In fact, Nathan is another one. But I guess what I'm trying to say is, Jeff used to, my husband used to provide leads, right? Like Jeff now as a team, he provides leads. They pay X amount of dollars, thousands of dollars if you will, depends, right? To get leads.
Mhm.
And so there's such a huge following on Zillow because Jeff makes sure that every lead he had closed or anybody on his team put a review here. And so now they're like on Zillow with 10 stars.
Mhm.
So there's no doubt about if you work for the Johnson team or you're on that team, you're part of a very productive team, right? And get things done. So that's where they put it. So an agent like me doesn't want to put stuff on Realtor.com. There's another platform, Realtor.com. Someone might do a lot of those leads and put their stuff on Realtor.com. And so, yes, people are going to see stuff about you on different places, but I choose to put my place on Google.
Yeah.
Because no matter where I go, whether I'm on Jeff Johnson's team or Amy Smith's team, who's that?
That's you.
Oh. So if you
Not
click on my
your
reviews,
okay,
so they're mine
Yeah.
forever.
Mhm.
Whereas if you go to Zillow, it's all under Jeff
It
Johnson.
just belongs to the team.
Right.
Okay, got that. Makes
So guess what? So look
She
up
has
here.
5 stars, look
Yeah.
at her.
Oh, thanks guys. Okay, so let me,
5.0.
so but you can build that.
Mhm.
And look at, there's only like 3 or 4, there's not a lot. Because I'm behind on that, and I can go back to any of my people and say, you know what, we closed something last year.
Can you record?
Yeah, do you mind writing a review? I'm trying to grow it. They need to freaking do it.
Yeah, but did you know that when you search real estate Colorado Springs on Google and go to the map, you're the second?
Hell yeah, Stephanie.
That's awesome.
No, I didn't. I don't have any words. What do you
Yeah.
call them? I don't
So
have.
you just
Look,
search real estate
Yeah.
Colorado Springs, go down to the map, you're number
that's
2
so
right there,
awesome.
which is super
I'm
cool.
gonna cry.
That's awesome.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's
So
so
I mean
cool.
that's all I did. I just Googled that, and if you,
Wow.
that's cool.
That's cool.
That's super cool.
This is why you need to build this for yourself. Do you
Yeah.
have one yet?
Not a
Do
Google.
you have one yet?
No, I had no
Do-
idea.
Do it.
Do
now.
it. Yeah.
Okay, I gotta make
Do it now. Okay, so here's what I want to show you. So here's the page. Oh no, it won't show it, will it? Right? Okay. So you'll see the reviews, and so you'll click on the reviews, and this is what else. God, why won't it show? I think it's because I'm on preview, right?
Yeah.
I'm on preview. Hold on, let me get out of here. I need to get out of here for. Oh, I know what I do. Alt tab. Let me go over here. There. No? Shit. I don't know how to do that. Okay, never mind. I guess what I want to say is this. At the bottom of my email address, right? God, I wish I could get out. I'll show you after class, after I
Okay.
close this out.
Yeah.
I want to show you that after class, at the bottom of the email address, is a click that says, click here for reviews. It's me, it's mine, it's my stuff, people I've helped. And so will always be yours, okay? Because there's gonna be all kinds of different places. Somebody might come on and like, I'm the elephant.com, and they're gonna become the biggest website, and Zillow's not gonna even exist, right? Then what happens to all your reviews, right? Over here, they don't belong to you, they belong to Zillow. But here is our business page that belong to us, right? Okay, so that's fine. I'm gonna go, wait, oh, I'm so bad at this, I'm sorry. You see this? Okay. Right? Okay. So sellers, you're gonna learn all about this stuff in the buyers and sellers class, so, that's it. What's your, just kidding. I talked about all of this stuff, I just didn't go through it like this, sorry. But not sorry.
No, you got it without.
We talked about the value proposition, but I think that all actually begins, you guys, like I said, in writing some kind of mission statement. Every week I send something to my coach. In fact, I'm gonna get out of here, so, cause I wanna share with you some real deal. Every week I share something with my coach, and it's not necessarily a mission statement. I used to have one, a vision, a mission, but instead now you'll see what I do is, I'm gonna share this. Every week I send my coach this, here, It's a weekly meeting thing, right? And if you look here, it says here, write your mission statement, your core values, and your whys, right? But here, core values can just be words that you resonate with. So don't get too in the weeds about, I am a good person and I serve others and I'm really nice.
Yeah.
Rather, use words that resonate with you, and someday when you're ready, you can write a paragraph about you. But for me, I'm just a word person, so I'm like, whenever I see a word, I'm like, man, you know, I've been digging deep on this one with you guys, on choice. I choose to work with you. You know, I'm not, oh God, I have to work with this buyer.
Right.
And this sometimes happens when you work on a team, because you don't really want to work. I want to work with people that know, like, and trust me. And maybe something like this on a team and getting leads will help jumpstart my business, right? For now, but I'll always strive if that's where I go, because you get to choose, hey, I need to make some money, and this makes the best situation for me, is working on a team. And maybe you're there for a year or two and you're like, I got this, and on the side you're building your own business. And you always get to say, I like this offer, and I'm wondering, and I like this offer, and I feel like I could be making this. I like your offer, and 8 a.m., you want me to be here, I understand you want me to be here at 8 a.m. I can get here by 9. Well, that doesn't work for me, you can't be on a team. Okay, but you get to choose. You're like, I want to work there, but I don't want to work at 8 because I'm setting myself up for failure. Whatever that is, know who you are and know what you deserve, okay? So these are these words, right, that resonate with me. Trust, listen. I'm really big on talking and sharing because I feel like I have so much to share, and I want to share. And yet when I get to my clients and my spouse, I have to, don't have to, I get to choose to tone it down because they need to be heard. My clients need to be heard. Okay, yeah, I can understand that. And I love this word because sometimes we get caught up with words. This is one of my favorite words. And I learned this from a book called Never Split the Difference. You guys, I love these books. This was recommended by a real estate coach, right? Never Split the Difference. There was a time during COVID where we had so much to do, and we shared on our Facebook page, hey, what's some good books? And we share. Never Split the Difference was written by Christopher Voss. And he was an FBI negotiator. I don't know if I shared any of this, but it's such a good book about listening. And so if you're like me and you just want to share and talk, and here, let me tell you how to sell your home, and we're going to do this, and that's how I was in the beginning. And yet now, now that I understand, that we understand that people want to be heard. They want to be in control. It is what they need. They need to be in control. Your clients, buyers and sellers, they need to be in control, because in a market like this is so much that's scary, you know, going through the loan process. Oh my God, you want my earnest money? Where's it going? You know, and they work so hard for their money. We all do. So they need to feel this way. Do they need to have it? No, but they need to feel this way. And they need to be heard, okay? So how do you do that? Even if we don't always agree with that, well, I think my house should be, you know, my neighbor sold it for blah, blah, blah. Come on, right? You gotta hear them. Yeah, I know, but that was like, do you know that we're not in, you need it. No, you need to hear them. Okay, well, how much did they sell it for? Wow, well, what else did your neighbor share with you? Oh no, I just heard from another neighbor. I said, okay, whatever, but keep asking the questions. Keep saying, oh really, how, why, what? And Keller teaches this in the buyer consult, which I think you'll learn more about. But what I want to say is this. This is such a good, because I don't always agree with people, right? But this helps them feel like they've been listened to, heard. Pete because you may not, you'd be like, oh my God, he's going to talk about his neighbors again, right? And so you may not agree with them, but you could say, yeah, it seems like it was a really interesting market. A lot of people were selling homes for so much money. Yeah, yeah, sounds like a lot of people have equity, even today, in spite of interest rates. You still have all that equity, huh? Yeah, yeah. How much do you own in your house? 250. Yeah, so even in today's market, I see that you have sounds like you might have a lot of equity. Oh yeah, I have a lot of equity. Awesome. You could use that money to buy another house. Are you with me? Tell them it seems like, it sounds like, because that helps them say, yeah, let me help you hear more about what I'm trying to tell you, because they want to be in control. And I learned this from that book, and it's huge. Okay, what else did I want to share with you? One more thing. How are we on time? Oh, shoot. Okay, it's 12:30. The only thing I wanted to share with you is my signature line. If you work, this is Olivia's, right? It's a PDF. If you work on a team, they might require you to use your signature line. When you send out information from your database, when you're creating your own, and this may be complex because sometimes when you work on a team, there's no time. Working in a team can be very, very, very busy, which is great, right? But never forget your friends and family, right? And so if you send something out that's just your database, make sure that they know that you are self-employed and you send out whatever your drip campaign. This is mine. I created this. Actually, I had somebody help me because I'm not very tech savvy.
I love your picture.
Oh, thank you. Well, it was taken right before we did these. Because to be on the magazine, they take professional photos. You don't have to pay for them. But if you want to keep them, the photographer's like, I gotta sell you a package. So we did buy a couple of headshots, right? She did a really good job, so she took out all my flaws. I'm not really into that.
No, yeah.
So, yeah, but oh well, next time, right?
Yeah.
So these were taken, I don't know, 3 years ago. Okay, so maybe no, not even 3 years ago. I guess these were taken sooner than that. But I had a lot of makeup and I got my hair did. I got my hair did. But here, do you remember we talked about this Google?
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, you can create your own. It's on YStamp, and it connects it to your email. You've heard of it?
I haven't heard of
YStamp is it is a signature line, and it's cheap. I think I pay, I don't know, like $10 a year. But look at this, when you click on CPAS client reviews, well, this is because I'm still in the send. I'm still in the send page, but when they get it, if they do click it, it takes them right to the reviews. And then you could just keep scrolling. So, that's why this is for you. The very last review I got, I didn't even ask her for it.
That's so sweet.
I didn't even ask her for it. It just came in and said, you have a review, and I'm like, huh? Oh my God! I started crying. Look at me. And always respond to your people.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So
It takes a lot for someone to write a review when it's positive. I feel like people are so quick to write one when it's negative things,
sure.
but I think it speaks a lot more when
it can be. In this business, people will get to know you and build relationships. I can't see how if you didn't take really good care that no one would put something in there that says she was great to work with. He's a good guy. I highly recommend working with John. Okay? You guys have any questions?
No, I think
You know how valuable you are?
Yes.
Yes.
This is so awesome. That's all I want is for you guys to know how freaking valuable you are.
You know what I've been doing a lot lately too?
No.
Is I get the opportunity to go to work at
I
night.
get the opportunity.